Why temple guards refuse to enter after dark. When the sun sets over the ancient lands of Egypt, tourists return to their hotels and the massive gates of the temples are locked shut. Silence falls, or so we think. But for the 300 guards who patrol these ruins, the real story begins after midnight. They claim that inside these walls, history doesn't just sleep, it wakes up. From statues that walk to whispers in dead languages, tonight we open the shadow files to ask what really happens inside a pharaonic temple when the lights go out. The logic of magic. Is it mass hysteria, or is there a darker pact? Ancient texts explicitly mention that pharaohs weren't just kings, they were masters of the esoteric arts. The Quran itself describes their magicians as powerful enough to deceive the eyes of thousands. They built schools for magic, wrote curses in the language of the Jinn, and vowed to protect their tombs for eternity. And the first victims of these ancient vows are the simple guards of today. Mubarak's story. Let's take the story of Mubarak. For 30 years, he guarded the Karnak temple, a man who doesn't scare easily. But he swears that inside Karnak, the statues of Ramses II and Queen Nefertari don't always stay still. He recalls his very first night on the job. He was sleeping in the guard's room when suddenly the ground turned into liquid. The moving statues. Mubarak ran to the courtyard to check for an earthquake, but the earth was still. What wasn't still were the statues. He claims with absolute certainty that he saw the colossus of Ramses II and statues of Nefertari chasing each other in the moonlight, stone grinding against stone, a sight that defies physics, logic, and sanity. If you think Mubarak's story is a hallucination, listen to the man who spent 50 years in the dark, Haj Maher Saeed, the Sheikh of Temple Guards. His journey began at age 16 in the Temple of Dendera. Back then, guards didn't have cabins. They slept on the cold stone floor inside the temple halls. He says the nights were never quiet. It started with whispers, not Arabic, not English, but a low rhythmic humming, like 1,000 voices chanting in a dead tongue. The little guardians. Mayor tried to ignore the voices, just as the older guards advised him. It's just the Jinn guarding the treasure, they said. But one night, the Jinn decided to show themselves. Mayor woke up to find himself surrounded, not by ghosts, but by short, humanoid creatures dressed in ancient pharaonic kilts, holding small spears, poking him, trying to drive him out of their sanctuary. The terror didn't stop there. In another incident, Mar woke up screaming. He saw the massive stone ceiling of the temple descending, crushing him. It was a vivid hallucination, or perhaps a defensive spell cast by the temple to protect its secrets. He closed his eyes, accepted his death, and when he opened them, everything was back to normal. But for others, the encounter was far more physical. The barren woman and the Ifrit. Locals believe Dendera is a place of magic. One night, a desperate couple begged Maher to let the wife enter the sanctuary alone, hoping the ancient spirits would cure her infertility. Against his better judgment, he agreed. Minutes later, the silence was shattered by a blood-curdling scream. The woman ran out, pale as a ghost, claiming a giant beast, and Ifrit tried to devour her. The touching hand and Jinn Al-Rasd. Other guards like Sheikh Talat and Reyes Fahim reported similar phenomena. Fahim, guarding Luxor Temple, felt a scorching hot hand stroke his hair while he slept. When he opened his eyes, nothing, just the cold stone. They all agree on one thing. These are not ghosts. This is Jinn Al-Rasd, the Observer Jinn, guardians bound by an ancient blood pact to protect the Pharaoh's gold. The Dark Deal. Why would powerful entities like Jinn guard human tombs for thousands of years? They don't do it for free. The Pharaohs were smart. They knew the only currency that transcends time is blood. Ancient texts suggest a sinister pact. Black magic used to bind these entities to the location, fed by sacrifices. And today, thousands of years later, greedy treasure hunters believe the contract is still valid. But to break the seal, the Jinn demand a fresh payment. The underground obsession. This belief has turned deadly. Across Egypt, people dig tunnels under their own homes, hunting for al-Masagit, the cursed artifacts. They hire so-called sheikhs or charlatans who claim to control the Jinn. These diggers often find nothing but death, collapsing tunnels, suffocating gases, or worse, the demands of the charlatan. July 2024. Asyut Governorate. A story that shook the nation. Issam, a father, reported his 8-year-old son Muhammad missing. The boy went out to play and never returned. The village searched for hours. What they found in the agricultural fields wasn't a lost boy. It was a nightmare stuffed in a sack. The betrayal. Police investigations revealed a horror closer to home. The killers were the boy's own cousins. They didn't hate him, they wanted treasure. They had found a tomb entrance under their house, but the sheik told them the Jinn Al-Rasd demanded a human sacrifice, specifically a child, to open the door. Blinded by greed, they lured Muhammad to his doom. The ritual that failed. The charlatan performed his ritual. He burned the expensive Moroccan incense, chanted the forbidden spells, and presented the innocent blood to the guardian. They waited for the stone door to open. They waited for the gold to glitter. But the door remained shut. The Jinn gave them nothing. They lost their souls, killed their own blood, and gained absolutely nothing but prison bars and eternal shame. The Babylonian connection. So, how did the pharaohs acquire such power? One theory points east, to Babylon. Historians believe that black magic wasn't originally Egyptian. It traveled via trade routes from ancient Iraq, the land of Harut and Marut. The Egyptians took this forbidden knowledge, intended as a divine test, and weaponized it. They didn't just learn it, they perfected it to bind the Jinn to their will forever. The mind over magic. But not everyone believes in demons. The famous Egyptologist Dr. Zahi Hawass leads a different camp. He argues that the curse of the pharaohs is real, but it's not magic, it's psychology. He suggests the ancients mastered white magic, the art of using 100% of the human brain, hypnosis, telepathy, and mass suggestion. The moving statues, the whispers, perhaps they are just projections of our own terrified minds, triggered by the temple's design. The silent spaces. Hawass calls this the silent spaces of the mind. If you could unlock the dormant parts of your brain, you wouldn't need Jinn to move stones. You could do it with your will. The warnings written on the walls, Death shall come on swift wings were not spells, but psychological triggers designed to break the intruder's sanity before they even touched the gold. The global terror. Magic or mind, the result is a same: terror. In 2023, Yahoo News ranked the tombs of the Valley of the Kings, specifically King Tut's and Akhenaten's, among the most haunted places on Earth. Even today, with all our modern technology, cameras malfunction, batteries die instantly, and seasoned guards refuse to walk these halls alone. The guards of Karnak, Dendera, and Luxor have seen things they cannot explain. Whether it is the Jinn Al-Rasd demanding blood, or the ancient pharaohs hacking our minds from the grave, one thing is certain: the past is never truly dead. It's just waiting for the sun to go down. What do you think? Are these just stories, or is there something watching us from the shadows? Tell me in the comments. I'm yourname/ChronoMyst, and this was The Forbidden Night.
Hey everyone, don't forget to subscribe and like this video.